Hi everyone, and welcome to lesson 1 from chapter 4, found on pages 257 to 260 for this video. We're going to estimate products of fractions. What this means, boys and girls, is that we're going to start multiplying fractions. But before we actually multiply the fractions, we want to learn how to estimate them. And that's what this lesson will be about. Lesson 1 is estimating, and lesson 2 will be actually multiplying the fractions. Let's look at the real world connection. Nature. A wildlife preserve has 16 tigers, about 1/3 of them of which are male. The tigers are represented by the counters below. Now, boys and girls, whenever you have a number, a whole number, and you multiply by a fraction, you're going to get this fraction of the number. Meaning you're going to get 1/3 of 16 because you're multiplying this by 1/3. If you want to multiply 16 by a half, as you see right here, 16 times a half. Let's just pretend this is a half can also be written as decimal 5. Don't forget. You would get half of 16, which is 8. Okay, so anytime you multiply a number by a fraction, you get the fraction of that number. Make sense? So now we're looking for 1/3 of 16. Let's use this visual to help us. We're being asked, can you separate the counters into 3 equal groups? No, we can't, because if these are 16 in here, 16 is not divisible by 3. Right? You would have to be able to divide it by 3. So no, we cannot. So no. The counters can be separated into 5 groups of 3 with 1 left over. That's true. If we have 15, we can make them into 5 groups of 3, right? We separate them all into 3s. As, for example, let's do here. These 3, these 3, these 3, these 3, these 3. And now I have 1 left over, as you can see here. Okay? So go ahead and write that down, and as a key answer, please circle these the way you see it circled and put this arrow pointing at this one, please. For number 2, fill in the multiples of 3 on the number line. Place a dot at 16. Okay, let's do this. So multiples of 3, boys and girls, means we're counting by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Oh, there's our 16 right there. 16 and then 18. Right? What multiple of 3 is closest to 16? 15, right? 15 is 1 less. That was the multiple of 3. Okay, number 4, arrows jump from 0 to 3 to 6. The arrows jump from 0 to 3 to 6, as you see there. Continue the pattern. How many jumps are from 0 to your answer in exercise 3 to 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 jumps, right? About how many tigers in the preserve are male? About 5, right? Because 1/3, right? It would be 5 out of 15. Now we're saying that we would have 15, but we actually have 16 tigers. But this is the closest. We already said that this is the closest we can get to 16. That is a number divisible by 3. So about 5. So it would really be about 5 and 1/3, but you can't have 1/3 of a tiger. I mean, you could, but that's a little freaky. Remember how we talked about compatible numbers, numbers that work well together. Like, for example, 21 and 7 are compatible numbers. They will divide nicely, and you will get 3, a nice round number. So you have already used compatible numbers to estimate quotients. Yes, we did. You can also use compatible numbers to estimate products. Estimate products, remember, products is multiplying. Let's see what we're doing here. Here we're being asked to estimate 1/4 of 13. Remember, this number here, boys and girls, this number here has to be able to be divisible by 4 because we want 1 out of the 4. But we know that 13 is not divisible by 4. But a number that's very close to 13, which is 12, we know that's divisible by 4. And when we divide that by 4, we get 3. Right? That would be the 1. Okay, and all four 3s is right there. You see what I mean? That's what they're asking you to do in the example. Now, please take time to read through these on your own. Please read it on your own, and so that you can figure out what they're implying or what they're trying to explain. Let's continue on with the examples. Mentioned earlier, please take a look at all of this on your own time. Right now, pause the video or look in your book carefully and read it through to make sure it makes sense to you. We decided that the closest number to 11 was 10, so we're using 10 over here, and 10 can be broken up into 2's. Okay, so we have 2, that would be 4, 2, 6, 2 is 8, and another 2 is 10. So when we break it up by 2, and what we're doing here now is that we have 2 out of 5 of them. See here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 2. 1, 2. But in reality, in there I have a 2 and I have a 2. So in reality, I have 4. 4 altogether. Ooh, you can't really see that. Sorry, let me change that color. Okay, you really have 4. Okay, 4 altogether. So it's 4/10. So let's answer this right here. 2/5 of 10 is 4. And 2/5 of 11 is about 4. Okay, let's do A, B, and C. Please pause the video now and try these 3 on your own and then check your answers. Okay, we're going to multiply 1/5 times 16. Remember, you can turn 16 into a fraction simply by putting it over 1. So that's what we're going to do now. 16 over 1, okay? Is there any cross-referencing we can do? No, no cross-referencing. These are down to 1 already, and these are not divisible by 2. So we go ahead and work right through. 1 times 16 is 16, and 5 times 1 is 5. How many 5s are in 16? 3. What do you have left over? 1/5, right? Because there are 3 5s here. 5 times 3 is 15, and you have 1 left over to get to 16. So 5 times 3 is 16, plus 1 is 16. 15 plus 1 is 16. Okay, B. Make sure that you have it set up like this. 5/6 times 13. Okay, turn it into a fraction over 1. Cannot cross-reference. No cross-referencing. Remember, that's what we like to do first. So then we have to go ahead and multiply right through. 5 times 13 is 65, and 6 times 1 is 6. How many 6's are there? I see 10 of them with 5 left over, and over 6. Now, if this is not making sense to you, what they're telling us is 5/6 of 13. 5/6 is almost a whole. So we're looking for a number that's almost close to 13, but a little bit less, because 5 is not quite 6, as you can see that, right? We're missing 1 to have the whole. So we're missing 1 of these. So what do we have? What are we missing? We're missing, looks like here we're missing 2.1, 2 and 1/6, right? So this is what 5/6 of 13 is 10 and 5/6. But they want you to estimate. So if you put 10, it's fine. If you put 11, it's even better because this is almost 11. This almost gives us another whole. Okay, and let's set this one up. We can work with it the way we were working before. We have to find a number that's close to this number that is divisible by 4. A number divisible by 4. To me, I think of 24. Because I know 24 I can divide by 6, right? And that'll give me 1/4. 6 is 1/4. Okay? 6 will be 1/4 right here. 6 over 24 is 1/4. But we're not looking for 1/4. We're looking for 3/4. So I have to multiply this by 3. I need 3 of them. Right now it's only 1. I need 3 of them. 6 times 3 is 18. So 18 out of 24 is the same as 3/4. So my answer would be about 18. Okay? So we can say that 3/4 of 23 is about 18. If you had a hard time understanding that, please stop the video, rewind it, and go right to the beginning when I started explaining all of this, because I really need you to think that way. I really need you to round to a number that's divisible by 4 and then find what 3 parts of those are. In 5th grade, we learned about landmarks. Landmarks like 0, half, or 1. You have to look at the fraction and see if is it almost a whole? Yeah, this one's almost 8 over 8. 7, we're just missing it by 1. So we can round that to 1. And 1/8 is almost 0, so we can round that to 0. These are finding landmarks. Go ahead and read this over. Take your time. You can pause the video now. For example 3 and 4, we have to plot these points on the line first. So we see that 1/3 has been plotted there. Remember, this is 0 to 1. All the fractions fit in here. And then 7/9 is almost a whole. Okay, it's close to a whole. And then when you multiply and you figure out, when you round to 0, 1, or 1/3 or so, you'll figure out that your answer is about a half. Again, pause the video, read through this carefully, make sure it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, ask me in class. Now we can practice with number 4. First we have to plot 1/9. 1/9 is like almost 0. 1/9 is going to be all the way down to here. I'm going to put my 1/9 right there. And 4/5 is almost a whole. So I'm going to go all the way up here to close to the whole 4/5. And there we go. Okay, so one is rounded down to 0 because it's almost 0 right there, and the other one is rounded to a whole. So my answer, 0 times 1, it's 0. Anything multiply is 0. So 1/9 times is about 0. Actually, that's not a very good estimate, to be honest with you, but it's close to nothing. Okay, and now we have to estimate here. Let's see. 5/8 is about a half, is it not? It's about a half. And 9/10 is about a whole. So it's a half times a whole. When you multiply a whole number times a half, you get a half of that number. So you're going to get a half, right? E, we have almost a whole, so I'm going to make that 1. 5/6 is almost a whole. And times 9/10 is almost another whole. Times 1. There you go. You have a whole. Okay? Again, these are not very good estimates, but we're working with what we're given. And 5/6 is almost a whole, and 1/9 is almost 0. Right? So we're multiplying it times 0, and we get 0. And those are our estimates. For the next lesson, we're going to actually figure these out, really actually multiply them and give the exact answer. And finally, we're working with whole numbers. Now, don't forget, the whole numbers, these are easier to decide. The whole numbers. Here we have 14. Do we almost have 15? Is this almost another whole? Yes, I would round that one to 15. And then 6 times 1/8. This is nothing. This is not even a whole, another whole. This is very close to 0. So this one can be just rounded left at 6. So 15 times 6 is 90. And that is your estimate. It's about 90 square feet. Okay, I think we're ready for independent practice. Remember to leave the guided practice for class so that we can work on it together. Okay? And let's do the independent practice. Right now, on your own, you don't have many questions. Okay, as you can see, you only have 1 to 7B. Okay, do all of these and we'll check these in class. See you in class, everyone.